Okay, today we're beautiful April 3rd, very early spring day in Puget Sound. Warm and comfortable. On board the Crystal ship, we're on the east side of the Key Peninsula, about halfway up its length, and we're heading into the historic Lakebay Marina for a burger and a brew. I'm really surprised that Lakebay Marina is not on the Register of Historic Places, but maybe the owners succeeded in keeping it off, and I can understand why. Once you get on a historic register, everybody's telling you what you can or can't do with your property. But anyhow, Lakebay is one of the old steamer stops for the mosquito fleet, the bunch of little mini steamers that used to haul passengers and cargo all over the Puget Sound area. The building is pretty much the same. It hasn't changed any. And the state was trying to shut it down a couple of years ago because it had a lot of bad boards in the pier and you had to really kind of watch where you stepped. But they've been getting it back together and working on it, and so they're still in business. I've stopped here ever since I've been boating. I started as I was a little kid with my Uncle Bill back in the late 50s, early 60s. The cafe is just, it's pretty mediocre. It's just your run-of-the-mill sandwich thing for a good place to stop in for lunch. You can get a burger and a brew. Priced reasonable. And it kind of has an ambiance to it. I kind of swing back and forth here. You got to really follow your chart or your GPS or whatever you got. You had your instincts because the channel is very narrow and it gets extremely shallow on both sides of it. Once you get on the inside, you're in plenty of water. It's about 12 feet of water on the inside, but it's more shallow here towards the outside, which is typical of the little bays in South Sound. Now we're getting lined up and making an easy turn, and you can see the destination, the old Lake Bay Resort building up on pilings out on the pier, way up by the head of the bay. It's called Lake Bay because the bay actually goes quite a ways back up in there, and then across the road, off of the end of the bay, a distance of maybe 1 or 2 city blocks, there's a lake, and the lake drains into the bay, so hence the name Lake Bay. Just a beautiful little place. I understand that the bars go in great guns, and on Friday and Saturday nights, I guess that place can just really get to rocking. Got the old pilings swaying. Woohoo! And some rip-roaring good times. I know I had some in there when I was younger. There's always a great big blue boat, which is obviously well loved and very well kept right out on the end, called the Cape May. And you can see it coming up on us. Penrose State Park is on the left-hand side of this cove as we're coming in. The sandy beach there is part of the state park off to your left. And just a very short stone's throw across the bay is the state park pier around behind the little sand spit. So it's they probably get some business from the state park, people rowing their little dinghies and rubber rafts and whatever over there to get soda pop and beer. That's about all the store has, is soda pop and beer, and you might luck out and get yourself a roll of toilet paper. Not much to it. And of course the cafe, which is just very plain sandwich thing for lunch. And I don't know if they even do dinner. Who needs dinner when you got a rocket band in the bar blasting away and the pilings are swaying? Woohoo! The inner bay is a good place to weather a storm. I've weathered a few in there, and if you can't get tied up to Lakebay's pier or the state park, you know, there's plenty of room to anchor out in the bay. Say the current, not the current, but the channel swings back and forth. So now we kind of swing over to this side a little bit closer to that big sand spit to stay in the deeper water. Wonderful weather for so early in the spring. Now I start my swing into the horseshoe-shaped pier, which is the main guest moorage. There's more guest moorage and a pier that goes all the way around the building, but on the back side it can get kind of shallow in there on the low tides. Well, here we go. Cruising in, approach looks good, angle's a little bit steep. Put her in neutral, let her coast. And I got her back just about right. Reverse and suck the stern over. Bump, absolutely perfect. Still got the old touch. First mate Lee is jumped out. She's going to get us secured, and then we're going to go up and have a brew and a burger. And thanks a lot for riding along today.